One of the advantages that Canada used to offer for students who study abroad was the smooth pathway when it comes to permanent residency. For a lot of people, that is a bit challenging when it comes to studying in the US. And I'm here to tell you, it's because of lack of information. There are lots of opportunities. So I am going to speak to a colleague who also went through the similar process of being a student and now transitioning into permanent residency. Which program did she study? Which universities did she apply to? Straight from Nigeria, what scholarship did she enjoy? And how was she able to transition from being a student to being a permanent resident? Is it possible you can also do it? How do you go about it? Is it possible you can speak one on one with this individual to help you go through the process? That's what we are going to discuss. The name is the Fred Effect. This is the biggest study abroad content platform, and we do this on every Saturday. I bring individuals who have been through the process on, so they share their experience, their journey. How much did it cost them? Which universities did they apply to? What scholarship did they enjoy? So that you who plan to study abroad will learn from this. Let's get started. And if you're just joining in, remember every week we select one individual who the team mentors to go through the process. So if you comment, if you like, if you share, you automatically join the draw. We'll be live across all the Fred Effect social media platforms, on YouTube, on Facebook, on X, or Twitter, Instagram, and also live on TikTok. We will also be streaming on my guest YouTube channel. Later on, I'll be telling you all about it. Go follow, subscribe, so that it makes things easier for you if you want to go through a similar process. Your microphone is muted. Hi, how you doing?
Hi, hello
Yeah,
everyone.
it's been a little back and forth, but we are on.
Thank
So let's get going. So for the thousands of people tuning in today, seeing your beautiful face, can you please introduce yourself?
Even though I don't see everyone, but I believe you see me. So hi everyone. My name is Fisayo Gracie Abbey. I'm a digital creator. I'm creating educational and immigration related content. I live in the United States. I've been here for a little over 4 years, going on to 5 years now. I use my platforms on YouTube and Instagram to create educational, inspirational content that helps international students and immigrants navigate life abroad, essentially through my journey and, of course, sharing the journeys of others that I have access and um, privilege to.
One of your popular YouTube videos that caught my eye was how you were able to get fully funded scholarships to an MBA program.
That's
Right.
right.
And if you've not checked that video out, I'll be sharing the screen. I'll be showing you Grace's YouTube channel so you could check it out. So talk to us about, where are you originally from?
Okay, I'm from Nigeria. I've lived in Nigeria my entire life up until the year 2020. I traveled out a couple of times, but I primarily lived in Nigeria, Lagos to be specific.
Well,
And yeah, I moved to the US in December of 2020.
right. What was your highest academic qualification prior to relocating?
A bachelor's and a mini MBA.
When you say mini MBA, what does it mean?
It was like a 1 week program at Pan Atlantic University. It's Lagos
Okay.
Business School in Nigeria.
All right. A lot of people think that, getting an MBA in the US, especially on a full scholarship, if you don't have a GRE or GMAT, it might be challenging. Did you write any of these exams?
I did write the GRE, but I found I found a couple people who went to schools that they waived the GRE or the GMAT exams for them. So it's possible, although having a high score at that gives you a good chance at getting some type of tuition waivers or financial assistance from the schools. But it's definitely possible to get into grad school without having to write any of those exams.
Let's give our viewers a snippet of what they're going to enjoy today. So your journey was being a Nigerian, applying into master's degree programs and MBA specifically, getting a fully funded scholarship, and afterwards you were able to transition into being a permanent resident. Correct? Good.
Correct.
So this is a goal, and especially being a lady, this is a goal that a lot of ladies would want to achieve and look up to you as well. So that is why I'm very glad that you have a platform where you share your experience and how you were able to do it. Also, you have a one-on-one coaching that if somebody wants to do it, hey, I'm not gatekeeping, I'm available. Let's book a consultation and then I'll talk to you about how I did it. And we'll be sharing that with you. If you are just tuning in, I'm speaking with Gracie. She had a bachelor's back in Nigeria, moved to the US on a fully funded scholarship. And in fact, she got other scholarship, and we'll be talking about that. What actually ignited your interest to want to study abroad?
Okay, it was many things. I would say in the year 2015, 16, I had no idea, absolutely no idea that I would relocate from Nigeria or be in grad school. Maybe I started the story midway. Let's go back to when I finished my undergrad, my bachelor's in the year 2013. I knew that I was going to go to grad school at some point, but I didn't attach a time frame specifically to it, or I thought I didn't. I actually did. I found out that I wrote some things down, but it was all just futuristic.
Did you say you had you graduated from your bachelor's in 2013?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, in 2013. And I knew I was going to go to grad school, but I didn't exactly, it was just something grand, like in the future. And I got into the world of work. I was also doing business, making money. I just felt like, okay, there's no point going back to school. And so I was living my whole life 2015, 16, 17, 18. And then 2019, it just dawned on me that there's more. And I do a lot of research on like biographies of people, reading through experiences of people. I just found a common denominator. Like many of them went to grad school, many of them had MBAs somewhere along the line in their journeys. And I just thought, okay, I think this is the time. I'm single. I think work is also getting to a point where I've had enough and I just want a different new experience for myself personally and even business wise. I was just thinking, okay, I think there's more that I want to do right now. And I just don't want to be faced with tailors and customers. I was a fashion designer, by the way. So I think that was
I
the
love your fashion sense. I think that is
thank you. So I think that was the major turning point for me. And I started doing my research. I didn't tell anyone because I had a lot of people who were planning to go to business school or had spoken to me about business school around me. And I didn't want their decisions to be the reason why I was trying to do it. So I wanted to be internally convinced, right? I wanted to know that, okay, I'm doing this because this is what I want to do, not because somebody has said, oh, come abroad, come to America, or there's money in America, or whatever. So when I was sure, then I started telling people, like, oh, okay, I'm doing this. I'm trying to write my GRE, GMAT, and asking for resources.
Did you have a background in business when you graduated from the university in 2013?
No, I studied information systems, management information systems, so a little bit of computer science and business. So
Yeah.
I wouldn't say, I mean, I did accounting in like my first and second year, I think, but I would not say it was like core business. It
I
was
see.
more, yeah.
I see. So that means that you do not necessarily have to have a business background to
You
move
don't.
to study an MBA.
No, you don't. I've
Okay.
seen doctors, lawyers, different kinds of professions get into MBA programs, and they can, use that degree to get into another type of profession that is completely different from what they studied, or what they've done undergrad. So no, you don't need to have business knowledge to be able to get into an MBA program. You just need to demonstrate that your transferable skills
Mhm.
from all the learnings you have had over the years, whether it's in undergrad or from where you work professionally, you can apply them in school.
Was your MBA program a STEM program or a non-STEM?
It was STEM.
Okay, okay. Because I was thinking that you had a STEM bachelor's degree background and probably moving to a non-STEM background. Right.
No, it was
I,
STEM.
I see. And was it supposed to be 2 years, a year and a half? How long was that?
The program was 18 months, so that's from August 2020 to May 2022. So
Hmm.
it was technically, yeah, it wasn't up to 2 years, but it's a 2-year MBA program. That's what it's called.
Would you say that the GRE sort of increased your chances of admission and then the funding?
I would say chances for funding, yes, because it definitely holistically adds to the strength of your profile.
Mhm.
For anyone that I see is gunning for a fully funded scholarship, I would always advise, okay, take one of these exams just to show, because you're competing with a lot of people, bright
Yeah.
minds all around the world, and everyone is trying to put their best foot forward. So you come in with a correct GRE or GMAT score, correct essays, correct recommendation letters, and you're filling out your application correctly, it gives you a better chance, in my opinion. But of course, they're outliers,
Yeah.
to this. There are people who have gotten full funded scholarships and they didn't write any of these exams at all.
Would you say that, do you remember the number of schools you put in? Because in your video you mentioned that you had three fully funded scholarships. Did you apply to only three universities?
Mm-mm. I applied to 11. I
Oh,
got 8 scholarships, and then out of those 8, 3 were fully funded.
I see. So 11 universities.
Mhm.
How did you fund it? And especially when people struggle with recommendation letters. Let's assume that each university is taking two. Normally, it's supposed to be three. Talk to
Mhm.
us about it. How were you able to fund these application fees? Did you get a waiver? And in terms of recommendation, how are you able to convince your recommenders to recommend you to 11 different universities?
Good question. So for the application fees, I don't remember paying any application fees for all the applications that I made. I got application fee waivers, and there are many ways around that.
Mhm.
Either attending events where these schools are. There are all these MBA tours that people do either virtually or online. During my time, it was a little things were closing down, so it was all virtual. You can have one-on-one conversations with them, and this is going on their school's website, looking for the admissions committee portion of it, looking for somebody in there that you can reach out to say, hey, I'm interested in this MBA program. Of course, not being this informal, but drafting out like a proper email to them, requesting for time to speak. Getting to understand more about the program and getting them to know you better. There are also opportunities where you can write to them, and just request directly for application fee waivers. And these events that they hold, all these admissions events, sometimes for the people who join, they can say, oh, if you wait to the end, you are eligible to get an application fee waiver. So there are different ways, really, that schools are generous with giving application fee waivers. But of course, you have to make sure that you are applying in the early stages. So the
Yeah.
first, the second round, um, before the third round, where things get a little tight and they
Mhm.
don't have the budget for it anymore.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love about business related programs. Mostly they waive application fees and they want people to also attend open house meetings to understand how the program go. All right, so we'll be asking the universities you apply to and we share them so that people watching us back home can learn from it. But before that, I love the fact that you are not gatekeeping and then you are sharing your experience and your journey on your YouTube channel. Um I feel your name is super long, right? So if that,
Oh wow, I see myself on the screen.
yeah. So talk to us about your YouTube channel. Why should we subscribe?
Oh, thank you. So my YouTube channel is basically what dreams are made of. Like you see a young girl who, from an African country, she comes into the United States determined to make the most of her potential and bring people in on the journey along the way so that they themselves can be inspired to do more for themselves and also reach out for goals that they have planned, designed, dreamed, for themselves as well. So why shouldn't you follow? Why shouldn't you want to have first row, seats in the life and the journey of someone who is trying to do well for herself and create a pathway for others as well. But thank you. It's nice to see my channel from another person's view.
Yeah. So if you're just watching us, if you're watching us on TikTok, just go to YouTube, type I don't want to mispronounce your name. Kind
So
of.
I can help you. I can help you. So it
Uh-huh.
is Fisayo. Fisayo. My full name is Olufisayo, and it means the addition of joy. God has added joy to my life, and so when you are calling my name, you're literally calling for the addition of joy to your life, right? Gracie. So it's Gracie Abby. That's my fashion. So I told you I was a fashion designer.
Right.
The name that my brand carried when I was actively doing fashion in Nigeria. So Fisayo Gracie Abby. So people call me different names. You can call me Fisayo, you can call me Gracie, you can call me Abby, you can call me Gracie Abby, you can call me Fisayo Gracie, you can call me Fisayo Abby, you can call like literally
Yeah.
different variations. But as far as you're not misspelling any of my names, as far as you're not saying Fisayo Grace or Fisayo Grace Abe or something, as
Yeah.
far as you're not measuring that, it's fine. You can call me any of those names.
And when you type that across all the her social media platforms, it will pop up. So the Gracie is Gracie, and then you
Abs-
add Abby to it, Abby, and then
abs-
Fisayo is Fisayo. So go to YouTube, check her YouTube channel, and then subscribe. This is somebody who has gone through the journey, and she's taking her time to explain to you how she did it. It makes it easier so that you wouldn't struggle or go through the same stress she went through, including how she passed her interview, the program she applied to, the university. She's sharing almost everything there, and that's what I love. It's and your platform is also cute. I like your thumbnails.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I try to stick to having white.
You put a lot of work into what you're doing, and that your presentations, as well as the opportunity that, okay, it's not enough to put the information out there. What if I want to talk to you? So normally you'll be busy, so there's an opportunity to schedule a one-on-one meeting. Talk to us
Right.
about that. How do people do that?
So yes, so that's a one-on-one chat through a platform called TopMate. It allows you to be able to book time, whether a 30-minute session or an hour session with me, to speak about any topic whatsoever. I think there's a 15 minutes, yeah, there's a 15 minutes there
Yeah.
as well. And then just a brief summary about me, who you're trying to talk to. When you're filling out the form, there's an opportunity for you to introduce yourself and give me like a brief introduction, just allowing me to get to know you before we jump on the call together.
Awesome. Yeah, so we'll talk more about that. It's possible after watching the videos, you want to have a one-on-one conversation. It's possible to do that. Normally people feel like, okay, why should I talk to somebody? Why would I want to book a one-on-one consultation and talk to Abby? Talk to me about that.
So that's a good question. I've seen people who told me that they watched my videos and they literally sat down with one video, watched it 5 times. At first, they're like, okay, I watched this video, but I don't know what to do. Then
Yeah.
watch it. They watch it again, they take some notes, they go into action, they will rewatch it, they watch it, and then they eventually feel like I've gotten it. And they go from there. We're not all the same. We have different ways we process things and we have different capacities. Some people are good with just running along with information that they find and doing the work. Some people actually need guidance even after watching the video. Still today, I still find people, that video that you said you that caught your eyes, the one that got 344, people still sending messages and say, how did you do it? And I'm like, bro, I already explained everything in this video. What do you mean, how did I do it? Like, and there are different testimonials there of people saying, oh, I just watched this video and I got fully funded scholarships myself. And some people are still watching it and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. What do I do? I cannot give you free time to talk to me, because if I invested so much time, putting that content out there and you still don't get it, then you pay for extra time to actually speak to me.
And there are several instances where I've had people, book consultations, and like
Free time and they
it
don't
was
come.
yeah,
And they don't show up. Yeah,
yeah.
that's the norm. That's how I started out. I started out with free, and then you just see no shows. People will not come. If you have access to maybe them on Instagram or something, you're like, hey, it's time for a call. I'm so sorry. I didn't know it
Yeah.
was time.
Right. If you're just tuning in, I'm speaking with Gracie Abby. And her YouTube channel is amazing. You should subscribe to it. Now, this is how you can navigate to So
Did we go
I
off?
mistakenly clicked myself out of the studio.
I was like,
Anyway.
did we go off?
Yeah, I mistakenly clicked myself out of the studio. So let's see. All right, so I was going to show how people can navigate to the one-on-one platform. So this is how you do it. Let me see if I can show this real quick. So when you go to the YouTube channel and then you click on the more, the links are under that section. So this is how you're going to do it. Go to the YouTube channel, just type Gracie Abbey on YouTube. It will pop up. Please subscribe to it. And then when you navigate to where the the picture is, you click on more. You see her Instagram, which means you can directly message her on Instagram, and of course follow her on Instagram as well. Then you go to the one-on-one chat. That is where you click on. It directly takes you to the TopMate website. Let me show that. So when you go to the TopMate website, you scroll down to look out for what you are interested in. So she has been able to go through what we call the EB1A Extraordinary Ability Visa process to be able to become a permanent resident. So if you're also a student or if you're at home, you want to go through similar routes on how to get a PR in the US, she has done it and she will show you how she did it and how you can also do it. So do that and that will make it easier for you. All right, let's go to the universities you applied to. If, you said 11 universities, obviously you cannot remember all of them, but let's go through one after the
I was
other.
going to say, I
Yeah.
wasn't prepared for that. But let me start from the first three that I got fully funded scholarships
Yeah.
from. I know the Arizona State
No, the
University.
one you graduated from in the first place.
Yes, Arizona State University. It's
That I think that so far that is the most beautiful universities I have seen. University campus I have seen, and
it is.
Tempe is very beautiful.
It is. It
Yeah,
is.
it's just super hot. I think when I went there, I thought like I'm an African.
You can do this. Like, I
Exactly.
mean, it's hot in Lagos. So,
Yeah. Then I realized that no, Venice is super hot.
mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's really
So
hot. Did you go to the Grand Canyon?
I couldn't. My people. I worked at the governor's office of Arizona, and then after on a certain weekend they said we should go there. I couldn't make it, but I should have gone there.
You
I
should
should
have.
have gone there, man.
What time
Yeah.
of the year was that?
At this time, which from somewhere May, they're about super hot.
Oh, loving hot. Loving
Yeah,
hot.
I
Maybe you
leave
can
my
try that
car. I
in the
leave my
fall.
car out, and then it's crazy.
You put
Yeah,
an egg on your bonnet and it fries.
yeah, yeah. The Arizona hot. If you've never been there, it might be that you are exaggerating. Like if somebody's listening to us in Africa, they'll feel like Africa is hot. The
Yeah.
northern part of Africa, especially.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Arizona at this time is super hot.
Let me tell you something. So my mom came from my graduation in Arizona. That was her first time in Arizona. She's been to the US. I think she'd been to the US before, but she wasn't like she was up
Right.
right, not cold or I mean not hot at all. And then she comes to Arizona. First day, she's like, okay, we stayed indoors. It's like, oh, let's go out. I was like, yeah, let's go out. Okay. Then I gave her these hats, and then I wore mine. We walked. She was like, oh, you want to book Uber? No, don't book Uber now. 20 minutes walk. Let's walk. We walked. Like, she was like, in her entire life, she has never been to anywhere as hot as this before.
No.
Said she thought I was just exaggerating. Like when
Yeah.
I came in, I was like, "Oh, this place is so hot." That she was like, "What am I feeling like?" When you come abroad, you're like, "Oh, maybe you're too used to the
Yeah.
good time, and now it's hot and just more inconvenience." You're like, "Ah, it's so hot." She's like, "Thank God for these hats that we
Yeah.
wore." I wasn't this light skin when I was in Arizona. To be honest, like I feel like 2 shades darker from just living in
Well,
Arizona.
yeah, I was honestly surprised. I knew the city is gonna be. When I was there, was almost like all the time above 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like yeah. Anyway, so that is one of the best campuses or the best university when it comes to MBA programs. I have to be honest with you, and I took my time to drive through the Tempe campus. Very
Mhm.
beautiful campus. Very beautiful. You love it. So Arizona State University is one of the universities you could target. It's located in Tempe. You have a lot of campuses. Which campus were you though?
I was in the Tempe campus.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, so I lived in Phoenix, and so I could drive around Scottsdale, those places. Yeah. All right. And the next university was.
It was Ohio State University.
Oh, okay. You applied to the top one, so.
Yeah, and they offered a
Yeah.
lot of money.
Yeah. So I had my first master's from Ohio University, which is like an hour 30 minutes drive from Columbus, where Ohio State University is.
Mm-hmm.
And we have this kind of unknown conflicts with them. So yeah.
I
So
can imagine. I
yeah.
can.
So I
It's
used to
smooth.
go to Ohio State as well. I have a couple of
Mhm.
friends there.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
All right. So check out Ohio State University is located in Columbus, Ohio. That is the capital of Ohio and one of the biggest universities in the country. All right. Which other university?
So there was Penn State University, so Pennsylvania State University. That
Yeah.
was a good one.
I have never been to this campus, but I'll be in Pennsylvania soon. So
Oh,
hopefully
nice.
I get to visit Penn State. Okay. So these are the three universities that gave you the fully funded scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, so I am not against choosing Arizona State, right? But these are really, I would have opted for Penn State. What do you think?
Why didn't I choose Penn State again?
Yeah. Oh, you didn't know Arizona was that hot? Hands down,
The
you know.
the only reason why I didn't want to go to Arizona was because of the heat. I was
Yeah.
like, how can I leave Nigeria, Lagos, Africa, and come abroad and be in this kind of climate? When I dreamt of being in America, I dreamt of always wearing boots and winter coats
Yeah.
and all fancy. What do you mean I have to be in the sun,
You know
sweating
that,
like
did you know
goats?
that from home? Like, did you know from home that Arizona is this hot? Because a lot
I,
of people
I
don't know.
knew, I spoke to a couple of students. I spoke to students to just understand what I was
Okay.
getting into. And they told me that. And the fact that they kept saying it, I was like, okay, there must be really something because,
Yeah.
like, why are you emphasizing? If it was just normal, like, because these are Nigerians as well, like, if it was
Mhm.
normal, something normal that they could also bear with, they would not have mentioned it. But the fact that they kept mentioning that, oh, it's so hot here, it's so hot here, I'm like, okay, this heat is something else.
Yeah.
Right. So I think that was like the only factor that brought the points down for Arizona State.
Mm.
I think the second on my list was Ohio when I
Okay.
did my ranking. So I ranked them by different measures. I ranked
Mm.
them by how much scholarship they were going to give me,
Oh,
how
okay.
much graduate assistantship I was going to be collecting every month,
Yeah.
whether the programs were STEM or non-STEM,
Mm.
location of the place. I found out about like the African community there, what's the proportion of African
Yeah.
students, in there. I was also looking for like what their employment reports was for all these schools, like
Okay.
looking through and seeing like, oh, what's the percentage of students that get jobs, post
After
MBA,
graduation.
what kind
Yeah.
of jobs that do they get into tech, investment banking, consulting, different things like that. I also looked at the climate. I think I mentioned that earlier, like the climate and a couple factors. And then when I did my analysis, Arizona was at the top, Ohio came next, and then Penn State was last for
All
me.
right. If you're just tuning in, I'm speaking with Gracie Abbey. She has an interesting journey and story, and she's sharing that with us. Remember that you can also join the conversation. If you have questions, let us hear from you in the comment section. And if you have any questions for her, drop them in the comment section. I'll be asking, and then she'll be providing responses to it. Remember, you can also schedule a one-on-one meeting with her. Let us know which country you're joining us from. What is the time at your end? Moving on, did your scholarship automatically, or would you want to share the other universities if you remember before we go to?
So there was SMU Cox. There was oh, wow.
No, it's been a long
I wish
time.
I had written this down somewhere.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
It's been a long
When you
time.
say SMU, what university is it?
This is in Dallas,
Oh,
Texas.
okay.
Let's see. So,
Is this Southern Methodist University?
mhm.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I'm trying to see if I could show the website.
Okay. So
Right.
I
So
put my
in terms
list.
of the scholarships, did it come automatically with your admission, or you
Mhm.
had to apply separately for the scholarships?
So I indicated in my applications that I will be requiring tuition aid or financial assistance
Mm-hmm.
for all the schools. That's pretty much how the process went. I either indicated it in my application, I spoke about it when I was speaking to the admissions committee
Mm-hmm.
right before my application, or I made sure to mention it in my essays or perhaps during the interviews.
Okay.
I did not do any separate, application for
Mm-hmm.
it. But it's not like that for all the schools.
I see. And when it comes to the assistantship, what were you doing? Were you teaching? Were you a research assistant? What was your job?
Yeah, so I was engaged with the alumni association.
Okay.
Interesting. It's interesting now that I'm actually doing alumni work for my bachelor's, my undergrad school.
Yeah.
That's University in Nigeria. I'm also in the alumni committee rather. So I was helping with alumni relations, and that involves reaching out to students who have graduated from ASU
Mhm.
a couple years down, checking in on them, asking them if they could be of help to any of the current students, asking how we could also be of help to them, sharing information, being like the liaison between the school and the alums.
Would you be able to respond to this question? With all these 11 schools you applied to, and you've showed us how you were able to get waivers for the application fee, if a Nigerian lady looking up to you is asking you, Fisayo, how much should I save to start this process? Well, how would you answer that?
2025 is very different from 2020.
Yeah.
Very different. Um, I'm not sure I spent up to 100,000 in 2020 to write the GRE, to purchase
Mhm.
all my study materials. I'm not sure
And
I
you're
spent
speaking, you're speaking in terms of naira. You guys
naira.
have
This
a
is
lot
the
of
naira.
zeros, so
Yes, yes, yes.
okay.
100,000 naira then, but I don't think that's obtainable now, because then the exchange rate naira to the dollar was around 300.
Right.
Guess how much it is now?
How much is it? Your currency, you have a lot of zeros, so
Wait, I shouldn't even be making you guess. Can you imagine? No, I take that back. I take that back. Anyways, it's like about 1,500 or so now.
oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
so I'm not sure how much you should budget. Maybe if in terms of in dollar,
Mhm.
between maybe around
Okay.
$500,000
Yeah.
saved up somewhere, just preparing for application fees. That's if you're not able to get any waivers for the examinations. If you have to fund your travel, if you're funding your travel, definitely
Yeah.
it needs to be more than that, because flight tickets are expensive. If you didn't get a graduate assistantship, of course, like your first couple of months in school, trying to settle in, so.
Would you classify your journey to Arizona to be smooth? I want to find out, like, how long did it take you? You started the whole thing in 2019,
Mhm.
and then by 2020 you were in, right?
Mhm. I
So
wouldn't say completely smooth because I did not start the program. I started the program virtually. I didn't start the program in person, and this
okay.
was because it was during COVID.
Hmm.
In Nigeria at the time, the embassies were not open. The Nigerian embassy, the U.S. embassy in Nigeria, rather, was not open
Hmm.
to applications or any kind of appeal. So I only got my visa in October, the end of October, I think the last day of October in 2020.
Hmm.
Um, and then I eventually flew to the US in December of 2020. And so that meant that from August to December of 2020, I was participating remotely from Nigeria.
Oh,
And
okay.
there's an 8 hour lag time gap between MS
Arizona.
Yes, and Lagos time. And so that meant that when classes start by 8 a.m. or 9 a.m., that was like my 4 p.m. or 5 p.m.
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
Nigeria. I was going all the way to past midnight. And even after classes, you're going to do like case work with your current students. You're going to
Mhm.
reach out to professors. You're going to do a lot of things. So literally, all my sleep and everything was just it was quite an intense time for me. So it wasn't the smoothest, but at the end of the day, it turned out well. I think you're muted.
Sometimes I do this to myself. I'm talking to my and nobody hears me. So in terms of the visa interview, that is after COVID, so it means that you have to use nose mask and stuff like that. You know, um,
Yeah, we
yeah.
use those masks.
So talk to us about that. Do you think maybe your fully funded scholarship made it easier for you? What was the preparation for it?
Um, Good question. So the thing with visas and interviews is I wish I could say that there's a template, but there isn't.
Mhm.
Many times it's just dependent on the person who you meet and if the person's having a good day or not. It might not be the best information for you to hear, but sometimes it's the truth. It helps that I had fully funded scholarship because the question of like, what are you planning to do after your program is over? How do you intend to fund your stay? Of which I actually have a lot of questions with that because what do you mean somebody is going to be offered like a 30% scholarship or a 40% scholarship and you expect them to come back to their second or third world country or whatever and then take up a role that will pay them less than half of how much they spent in school and they're supposed to make that money back in how many years doing what? And like I just yeah, but
I hope they are not listening. Okay, moving on. You said there's no template. If somebody is preparing for the interview, haven't gone through the process, what would be your suggestion or advice to such an individual?
okay, so of course, go prepared. I've done a couple of videos on my channel,
Yeah.
and of course, Fred has a lot of videos on his channel. I'm sure we also Visa officials as well. You have to be prepared. You cannot wing it. This is the opportunity to shine. It'll probably be like 3 minutes or 4 minutes or less. You have to go there with concise answers. What you are going to do in the US, how you plan to fund your education, what your plan is after. If you have any relationship with people in the US, if you had any previous history of maybe being denied, being able to explain that in a concise manner that doesn't leave any room for questions, just going there very confidently with your head on your shoulder. But importantly, be prepared. Have a list of questions that you have rehearsed the answers to, and not that you're waiting to go there to say the answers to them, but make sure that you are very fully equipped for regardless of the smile or the harshness you see on the face of whoever it is. Just
Mhm.
maintain your steez, like Nigerians will say, and come confidently and then have the answers that you are prepared ahead of time.
You mentioned you started researching about the process. You did everything yourself. So, would there be somebody you would like to say thank you to who supported you along the way in any way, shape, or form?
I think it definitely took a village for me,
Yeah.
to prepare. Um, my friends at the time, we had like a group chat of
Okay.
people who were going to do their MBA. I think we called it maybe MBA 2020 or MBA 2022. So
Mhm.
we had a lot of people that will check in with like, oh, how far, right questions. I had colleagues, people who I also got into my program with. We were four Nigerians or two people from Nigeria and two Nigerian Americans in my
Okay.
class. So yes, thank you everybody for being a part of my journey. I'm grateful for the village that supported me.
I see. What do you miss home?
What do I mean?
What do you miss home?
What do I miss?
Home, back home. Is it the food? Is it the weather? Is it a family? Your parents came over, so you don't miss home. You don't.
Yeah, I don't miss. I don't really miss anything.
Not the Lagos chaos, right?
I wouldn't say Lagos was chaotic for me, to be honest. My
Yeah.
life was very guarded. Like
Okay.
I usually went from work to church to the market,
I
market
see.
for business, work, home. Okay, I missed the home part. Home was where my studio was and
Mm.
where I was living, and then work. So that's how my life was. I don't. I don't really remember any chaos or anything that happened in Lagos.
No, no,
But no, talk.
yeah. I was going to ask, knowing what you know now, if you were supposed to be talking to younger Abby, what would you have done differently if we were starting this whole process again?
I would say that thank you, first of all, Abby, for being for dreaming big and taking the steps. I would say have the end in mind.
Hmm.
Um, yes, clarity does come on the road, but sometimes the best way to predict the future is to create it. So, as much as I'm waiting for clarity to come with some of the actions that I'm taking, I actually have to like say, this is what I want to do, and
Yeah.
then work with it. Because I see myself being held back or holding back on some things because I just feel like, oh, I didn't have clarity, I
Yeah.
don't have direction to do this, but just do it. Just do it. Yeah, just do it. So, yeah, that's going to be my advice for my younger self.
What was difficult to get used to? Is it the accent? Is it the weather back in Arizona? What was difficult to get used to in the US?
The accent, I would say that I could not really hear people when I first came. I couldn't really,
That would have been worse if you were doing an online class, right?
yeah.
Yeah. See, I still sometimes you still talk in class and the professor did not hear anything. They'll ask you to repeat yourself, huh?
I mean, they used to hear me like when I was talking. They used to hear me,
Yeah.
but when they now start replying, I'm like, what are you saying? What are you saying?
Arizona accent is also a little bit different.
mm,
Yeah, people from Arizona speaks a little bit different. Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. I
Yeah,
mean,
I
maybe that's my first
Oh,
introduction
okay.
to
So
the
I
US. I
started from
didn't
the
do this.
Midwest, somewhere in Ohio, and then now I moved to Arizona. I'm like, these people talk different. I went to Alabama; it's a little bit different. In Massachusetts,
I can imagine that it's different in Alabama.
yeah, Alabama. you know, so yeah. The weather was a little bit back. Okay, you coming in December, that
Mhm.
would be the best time to come to Arizona.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes. December was fantastic. I was like, oh, it's not that bad.
yeah,
Like,
like they say.
it's not that bad. I was like, oh, what are they talking about? And then December, January, February, March, April. Then
Yeah,
May that was it started getting hot.
yeah,
Traveled out for my internship. So I
yeah.
didn't get to experience Arizona like that until August of
Oh, I see.
2021 when I came back for my second year. And it felt
Mm.
like you just got into hell, like introduction, welcome. It felt like welcome to Hades, and you come in like, what's going on? Like
Yeah,
you're on the road, and like my eyes are literally. I feel like I want to pass out because like my eyes are turning. So I just need to enter the closest room so that I can. There's always AC everywhere, so you
yeah,
enter. There's water there, like what do they call them now? Springs, yeah,
yeah,
springs around where you can get water to
yeah.
just drink.
So if you want to see snow, then you have to go up the way Northern Arizona's Flagstaff there, but you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
And one thing I noticed about you guys, the driving in Arizona is crazy. I tell you, everybody is speeding. Like literally.
Ah,
Did you get your license in Arizona?
no, I
Oh,
didn't. I
Arizona people they drive so crazy. I'm coming from the Midwest, like they will be horning, you know.
hmm
Anyway, so that is Gracie. She's sharing her journey. I want us to quickly rush through as a student. When people think about permanent residency, then they'll talk about it's easy in Canada. How were you able to go through this process now that you have an that experience to be able to teach people?
So I I like processes, and I always document processes. So I think
Mm,
that's easier to convey. Oh, I did step one, step two, step three, and that's how I arrived at five or four. So when you have like things written out, you can always share it with people. I think that's helped me, and also because my journey, I didn't just come out from anywhere, right? So
yeah.
people could see like the trajectory from me going to grad school and all the things that I did. So it also helped to make my story more appealing to people because they knew where I was coming from.
Right. And so it's for somebody who do not know about your journey. What is EB1A and who qualifies for it in the first place?
Okay, so the EB1 is the extraordinary ability visa. So people of extraordinary ability who can demonstrate that they have risen to the very top of their field. So they're one of the top people in their field, whether it's been the arts, in the sciences, in business, education, or athletics. They can show that they have sustained national, international acclaim in this field as well. They're going to bring their expertise into the United States, and they're coming into the US would substantially benefit the economy of the United States. And of course, they have a plan, to continue displaying this extraordinary ability. So it might sound like a very vague term, a very complex term, like
Hmm.
the way it felt to me when I first heard about it, because I just imagined that it was only for celebrities or people who were like of high caliber,
Yeah.
people who were very popularly known, until I came across someone who was just like me, and did it. And apparently she did it by herself, not engaging lawyers or anybody, to write it. I'm like, okay, cool, this is something that I could venture into. I like a good challenge.
Yeah.
I like a good challenge. Let me get into it, especially because I'd also tried, or I knew a lot of people who were doing the EB2
Mhm.
NIW. So the EB2 is a second category, a second preference, where you show that you have exceptional ability, and um, for people who the national interest waiver, essentially. And
Yeah.
I knew a lot of people who were going through that process.
Mhm.
Yeah, they were not even doing it by themselves. They were having people do it for them. So
Yeah.
just now doing a higher category and having to do it myself just felt like, wow, this is something high. Well, eventually, like, I got into it. I sat down with it for like a whole month, and the rest they say is history. Yeah, muted.
Yeah. So you know, people, a lot of people are also of the view that it's only when you marry Oyibo that you can get papers, right? If you're a student and you get into the country, you should have a plan, and how you want to execute it. And so there are a lot of options, and Fisayo has mentioned one a lot of the options, and she's also mentioned what she used. Now, what she does, which is incredible, is that she has not only gone through the experience and had the experience, but she's also coaching you on how you can use your qualification to get it done. So, what would you advise? Should people wait until they graduate from their program? When do you think is the appropriate time to begin?
As soon as you have a good profile. Now that's is it may not be a concise answer, but let's dive into it. So
Mhm,
there's certain criteria that you should meet. 10 criteria that is listed out for you to meet to be able to qualify for the EB1. Out of
mhm,
those 10, you should meet at least three. Now, looking at your current state and where you are at, whether you're a student, you're trying to be a student, or you just finished your graduate studies,
mhm.
uh, looking at your profile and asking yourself, okay, so how many do I currently meet? Do I meet the bar? Does my profile look competitive?
Okay.
Do I need to build up a little bit more? Do I need to do more things? Do I need to expand my reach or my influence in this particular field?
And before you move on with that, and I love that you provide clarity to that. So when somebody gets in touch with you because you have the experience of being through, have assisted a lot of people, you're able to, assess these individuals' qualifications and tell them like this is
Absolutely.
what you have to add. So that is why you need to talk to Gracie. You need to benefit from these ideas. So let me show that again before you continue. So to be
Okay.
able to talk to um there's a whole range of things. We have the one-on-one consultation if you want to study abroad, and somebody has gotten an admission and a scholarship into three big universities, right? And she's saying that I know the way. I want to help you out. There's a way to do that. Okay, after me getting my MBA, I've been able to go through a process to get my PR. I know the way I can show you to. So I love what you do, and maybe God bless you wouldn't be enough, right? So if
Amen.
people have been through something, if people know the way, you shouldn't struggle to get it done, right? Yeah. Okay, you continue with what you're saying.
I lost my train of thoughts.
Yeah, we're talking about the profile.
Oh,
I
yes.
yeah.
Yes, absolutely. So I was talking about meeting 10 out 10 of the criteria, or there are
Mhm.
10 of this criteria, and then you should meet at least three.
Yeah.
I always advise my clients, yeah, three is the number that they have specified, but a good thing if you meet four or five, six, just making sure that you're tying all the loose ends, because what you classify as extraordinary might not be extraordinary to them, and so you don't want to be the you don't want to be one to be the
Yeah.
reason why you do not qualify or meet it. And now, assessing yourself against those 10, seeing where you're at. Oh, I currently meet only one, or I meet two, or I meet just three right now. Okay, I'm going to give myself the next 3 months or 6 months or 1 year, depending on where I am at.
Yeah.
Now, all different, right? It might take some people some time, a lot more times. It might take some people less, just depending on where they're at currently. And so
Mhm.
that's why it's not one size fits all. It's a it's on a case basis, right? I
Yeah.
need to look through your profile to say, okay, hey, this is where you're at now. This is what I recommend, based on your capacity, whether you're working or you're an entrepreneur, whatever you're doing. Then we can figure out a timeline for you to be able to build up and get you ready to apply for yourself if you want, or join my cohort. So there's a community that I created for people who write their petitions by themselves, and
Mhm.
they just need the motivation. They need like the guidelines, like, okay, this is what I have to do this week, next week, third week, fourth week, leading up to the seventh week, before I put my petition together and submit. So there are several opportunities, for support for people. I think for me, getting into the process, knowing what to do next,
Mhm.
what to do first, what to do next was like a big challenge. So it was just a lot of information. Yeah, I've done a lot of research and I have a lot of information, but I'm like, which do I put before?
Yeah.
Which, yeah, put that in a simplified manner, and then created platforms and opportunities for people to be able to take advantage of.
Yeah, I'm super proud of you, and thank you for coming to this platform to share your experience and your journey. I'm sure a lot of people will be inspired by your process and also would want to get in touch with you as well. So, like we
Thank
said, if you go to Fisaya's YouTube channel, there you click on more. There's an opportunity for you to click on one-on-one section. There's a whole different category of services that she offers. Try and get her brain to help you navigate your process. It makes it easier for you as well. So it's been great having this conversation with you. Thank you so much for coming through. I don't know if you have some last words or any services that you offer we didn't talk about. You can put it out there.
I cannot believe we've come to the end of this session. I was telling you before that I didn't want to talk for long, and wow, I'm like, oh, we have been talking for 54 minutes. Wow.
Yeah. Because I thought like maybe because sometimes I go beyond an hour. It depends on my guest. You gave me 45 minutes and I think I was abusing it. So I have to end it.
All right, thank you
I
so much.
try to keep people engaged in the conversation so they keep their mind off the time. But I
You
have
did
to
a good
respect
job.
it.
You did a good job.
Thank you. I
So
appreciate that.
yeah, so for everyone who's watching, wherever you're watching me for, whether you're in an African country or you are here in the United States, I want you to have your end in mind. And by end in mind, I mean your goal, whatever it is that your plan is possible. Look for examples of people who have done these things, hear their stories, listen to them, take time to actually, sometimes you might need to listen more than once, right? But make sure that you soak in on all the information that you need about their experience, their journeys, and start doing the work yourself, right? Start putting in the effort, whatever it will take you to apply to a top MBA program here in the United States, or whether you're trying to figure out your permanent residency journey, look for people who have done these things, actively engage with the kind of content or resources that they share, and you just keep your mind in a space where you already think that it's possible. Like, you remove every form of limitation and impossibility from off your mind, and then you already start seeing that you are working in possibilities, because you just know that you've seen possible examples in front of you. I'm very excited to be here, and I wish you all a very fantastic time.
Yeah, we're happy to have you on. Thank you so much. I think maybe, anytime you have anything coming up, a seminar or anything you want us to talk about it, obviously, yeah.
Mhm.
Link up and then we put them
Yeah,
on.
I
Once you
think.
go
Sorry,
ahead.
I think some people asked some questions in the
Okay.
comments.
I thought you want to go, so let's have them.
So I saw someone say that, was I what was her secret to gaining admission?
That's a nice
I saw one question that really picked my. The person said, "Was I required to? Was she required to show proof of funds after she received full scholarship?" Yes, yes, I was
question.
required to show that I. Well, I wouldn't say required. My school, of course, they needed to see that I had money to support myself in my first semester, and by
Mhm.
support myself, it's like accommodation, feeding, eating allowance, just before I get in, right? And at the embassy, I wasn't required, like when I was doing my visa interview, I wasn't required, but I just put it forward to say, oh, this is the bank statement, this is my bank statement, this is how much, I can't remember how much I had in it, but I made sure that I had as much money that was written on my I-20 for my living expenses, just so that you can
Mm.
see that, okay, I have this money in there. So it's always good to have the money, even if you get a full scholarship. Um,
What do you want to respond to this? David Lai on YouTube.
can she tell us about her experience at the US Embassy in Nigeria? It's very smooth. I created a video about it on my channel, how I got my F1 visa in less than 4 minutes. I got in there, he asked me what's my name, what school am I going to, why did I choose that school, what other schools did I apply to, what program am I going into, do I have any relationship with people abroad, like any siblings or anything, have I been denied a visa before, am I single, am I married? And they're just like, okay, yeah,
Yeah, I'm trying to pull up that video because the video is on the YouTube channel already.
yes, please scroll.
Um,
So that's it. That's the second one. How I
yeah,
got my, yes, F1 visa approved in less than 4 minutes.
yeah,
Yes, literally. So it was literally less than 4 minutes. So you can watch that and you see my entire experience.
awesome. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, that is Fisayo's YouTube channel. Just type FISAYO Gracie and then you add Abby to it. Be part of the family. She shares amazing content that would help your process. Um,
Someone says, would you tell us how, I think I answered this question already,
yeah.
the funds. Would you tell us how your life was in Nigeria, or your economic status was? What does it mean? What does that mean? Like, how
So,
much was my
so
bank account, or what exactly?
the individual wants to know how life was for you before relocating. I think
Life
that's
was
the merit of the question.
life was good. Life was really good. I don't know how to say this, but life in Nigeria was really good.
Yeah.
When people talk about like the suffering of Nigerians now, I really empathize with them. But
Mm,
life for me in Nigeria was very good. Yeah.
right. All right. My last question: what is the role of being spiritual or religious in this process?
Well, my entire life, I believe, is, for me, life is spiritual. Um, I I don't venture into anything without actually consulting God, or seeking direction to it. People have different beliefs. Come into the US and people say they're spiritual, and then I see something. that I don't understand.
Yeah.
So so we have to respect people's like faith and their religion and all that. But for me, life is very spiritual. I'm Christian. I believe in Jesus Christ, God, prayer, the Bible, and I apply that to like everything that I do. um,
Okay. So Clement has so you went on OPT, right? Before the EB
I,
one.
I was on OPT. I was on STEM OPT, OPT first, and then STEM OPT next.
Okay. And then there was a time you left the country.
Yes, I left the country, but I had already gotten approved for my EB1 at the time.
Oh, okay. Okay, I see. So, Clement, after the master's degree, she moved to OPT and then STEM OPT, which is 3 years of working. You know,
Mhm.
so yeah. Millicent, at the moment there is no restrictions. There are no banning. No country has been banned. Nigeria, Ghana has not been banned. There has just been a reduction, and then the entry for F1 visas, it's now one entry, and then it has been reduced to 3 months. And my point has always been that I had classmates who, proud to this, while Nigerians and Ghanaians were getting 5 years, they were getting 3 months. So it's not a new thing. So, and once you get in, you survive on your I-20 and not on your visa. So it shouldn't be a
Sure.
problem. All
Sure.
right.
And don't get scared. Yeah, we hear the news, we see it every time, but don't get scared. Just focus on what you want to do. Your
And
goal.
focus on what you can control.
Yeah.
Exactly. So, can you share with us how you overcame the fear in a new environment? What fear in Arizona? Scorpions or snakes or whatever?
Fear.
Yeah.
Did I have any fear? I don't know. I don't think I had any fear. I kind of made myself familiar by connecting with the people who were already there. And that's why your first year, your second year students are a good resource for you. Make sure that before you get in, don't just get in and be like, I don't know anybody.
Mm,
No. You got to connect with people who are like of your race. You
yeah.
definitely see Nigerians, Ghanaians, like Africans. They don't even necessarily have to be only Africans. You can
Yeah.
connect with, like the white people there, like Asians too as well. So just connect with people before you get into the system, preferably people who are have been there like a year or two ahead of you, just so that you are in a good community. And then
Mm,
once you get in, if you're a person of faith, find a church, find a community, just
yeah.
find a group where you can go and meet people and connect with there. It makes it easier for you to have a good flow and settling in the right way. I'm not really sure I had any fears of
Yeah.
the environment.
For airport pickup and temporary accommodation for you, did you had like did your school provide international office provide such a service, or you had to connect with somebody to pick you
I
up?
I later found out that my school offered like a
Mm,
airport pickup service, but I had one of the students, I think a first year student or a second year student,
right.
come pick me up at the airport, so it was easy for me. And that's why you should connect with people, because people
Mm,
will be offering to help because they know you're just coming in, right? You
yeah.
don't start figuring out Uber, and
Spending a
whatever
lot.
by yourself.
Mm. And in terms of accommodation, how much? I think I got a shock of my life when I went to Arizona because that was the highest I had paid.
Really,
Like,
really. I
I
think
think
our rent was like $900 per month, $960, I think.
Ohio I was paying 300. My sister.
What?
Yeah, I
What?
was paying 300. There was a time I
You're
paid
living for
200.
free.
Yeah, during the COVID era, I paid $200 for 4 bedroom, 4 bathhouse, which like so 200 each, 800 for the 4 bedroom, 4 bathhouse in Arizona, in Ohio. But that was the COVID era. But when
That's
I
incredible.
came, there was no COVID. So I
Mm-hmm.
came before COVID, right? When I came, there was no COVID. So my rent was around 312.5 thereabout. Yeah.
Wow.
So I moved to Arizona. I moved to Kentucky before I went to Arizona. So I was in Kentucky. I got a job in Arizona, and then I'm looking at 1,600. I'm like, Arizona, what's up? Yeah, I was surprised. But I mean, if you get there, you get to know that it's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. Um,
In terms of food, were you cooking? Oh, I know there are a lot of African markets back in. I went to an African restaurant. I don't know if you've been there before. I
what's the
don't.
name?
Is it Finnish? I've forgotten that, but that's the best African restaurant I've been to.
What's the name?
I forgot. I don't know if it's in Scottsdale or Tempe. I've forgotten actually, but it was a beautiful African restaurant. I don't know if
Mm.
it's a Nigerian or a Ghanaian. Yeah,
Okay. So
it was super nice.
I don't really eat. So I'm
Okay.
not so intrigued with like African. I probably count the number of times I've been to an African restaurant. I do
Yeah.
the regular Walmart, Trader Joe's, buy stuff, eat,
Mhm.
cook. Yeah. So I'm not phased when there's an African restaurant here.
And
No,
okay.
I don't really care. I don't really care. Yeah, so
So what you do is to get the Walmart stuff or like the things, the American stuff and prepare Nigerian dish. Is that the
oh
case?
yeah, yes. I
Oh.
don't only prepare Nigerian dishes. I just prepare like different types of
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. And that means it's easy for you to adapt and
Yeah, it
to
is.
the
It
to the
is.
new
On
environment.
food, yeah, it's very easy for me. There's some people who are like, "Oh, I miss my egusi soup," and I'm like, sorry,
I
I
see.
came late.
All right. So if somebody is having a full scholarship, right?
Mhm.
Do you think that person can save enough, considering that you get your stipend, there's rent for you to pay? Sometimes there are some, little school fees, even though you have a full scholarship. Is it
Mm,
still possible for international students to still make some money?
Let me tell you something that I've never said
Yeah.
anywhere before.
Mm.
So I told you that we moved to the US in December of 2020,
Hmm.
and the program started in August.
Right.
Our graduate assistantship, Arizona State was very generous to us.
Hmm.
Our graduate assistantship kind of technically started in August, but we were not doing so much, to be honest. Like we were
Hmm.
just boarding and doing, but they were still paying us. Now that money they were paying us, I was not in the US, so I couldn't collect it. So by the time I came in January, I already had accrued money from August.
Oh, wow.
So I
Oh,
was able to use
I
that.
want to be like you.
So, so when I came into the US, I literally came into the US with $1,000 that I did not spend.
Yeah.
And like I didn't need to convert money from whatever I had in Nigeria. Like the money I had in Nigeria was just in Nigeria, and I literally started my life up with $1,000 and continue living here. So ASU was a big blessing to me,
Oh, wow. Yeah,
especially.
anyone I'm talking to about who has been to ASU says that.
Yes, yes. So it's different for different people, and I can understand when people say, "Oh, they don't want to get on this, they don't want to embark on
Mm.
this because they are not sure how they will sort out their living expenses." And there's access to credit as well. You can get a credit card, start building your credit score, by taking a few, by taking money from there and then paying the minimum balance, even though you have to
Mm.
pay the interest,
Yeah.
But yeah. Somebody asked a very interesting question here. The person said, "Can you ask her why she applied to only state universities?" I didn't apply to only state universities actually, but the three fully funded scholarships I got were from state universities. I applied to other schools that were not state universities. There's a video on my channel, the one that says I got 593,000. Which one is that one now? If you scroll down.
How I get okay,
No, not
application.
that one. Not that one. Mm, where is it? Down. It was very. I think you reordered it, right? You
Yeah,
ordered it
I ordered it.
by
That's the
popular.
reason.
So do by latest, but
Okay.
do by oldest rather. Oldest, sorry,
All right.
oldest.
Yeah.
Yes. So this one that says I was offered no the fourth one. The fourth
Mm.
one. Yeah, I was offered 593,000 in
Yeah.
scholarship. That one I listed out all the schools that I actually applied to and got scholarships from. Um, that said, I also wasn't informed that like the very top schools like the Stanfords and the Harvards and the Columbias could also give you fully funded scholarships.
Yeah.
I didn't know that at the time. In fact, I was told that, oh, with your GRE score, your GMAT score, you're not the kind of person that they're looking for. So don't bother. So I didn't even bother applying to any of those schools. But now I've heard a lot of people who actually got fully funded scholarships to those kind of schools. So it's possible. And that's why I say go look for examples. Go look for people who have done the things that you are looking to.
Mm.
Go look for positive role models, right? And just hear their stories, hear how they did it. You'll see the possibilities for yourself and you'll know how to take action.
Fisa, your fashion sense is amazing. Do you style yourself? Like, I'm going through your thumbnail. Sometimes I struggle to put up a thumbnail. How simple yours is. Looks like you don't stress to make it. Like,
I don't stress. No
yeah.
stress, man. I don't stress. I don't stress.
So, like, talk to us about it. Maybe you should share. Where do you buy your stuff here in the US?
Okay, so you know when you're asking me this question about what I miss about Nigeria, I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to say, but I didn't want to get too emotional, right?
Yeah.
Like, so that's why I was like, I didn't miss anything, yeah. But deep down, I do know that I miss the ability to have clothes like at this. What
Oh,
do I
okay.
mean by that? Like, so I I was actively, designing, and I had people who were working for me where, like, if there's like a design that I come to mind and sketch, there's the fabric available, or I can source it and we can put things together. Literally, today is Friday. I have an event on Saturday and I have an outfit created. But it's not like that here in the US. You literally have to go shop, either physically or online. So there are different places where I can, or where I shop or check things out, right? So I definitely do miss the spontaneity with which I can get an outfit sorted, or I could get an outfit sorted in Nigeria. It's not the same here. So all of that styling that you see, I think you're muted. All of that styling that you see, there's some kind of work that goes behind the scenes. Someone says, "Can one apply for EB1 from outside USA and get approved?" Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. It's
So,
even for people who are outside of the US who are trying to come into the US. So yes, you can get
yeah.
up.
I have a couple of shops that I go to, because of my videos that I make. Sometimes when I use a shirt to make a video, I don't want to put it on the next video. So,
I had a pastor say that
oh
recently.
really?
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing. He was like, so there are church members who identify his videos from the outfit he wears. So he's like, they are looking for the day he wore this orange suit. So they'll go on their YouTube channel. They can't remember the topic, but they'll look for the orange suits, the thumbnail with the orange. I was like, wow, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. So mostly I try to get some new stuff. So, what are the shops you recommend? I'm not trying to advertise for anybody. I'm used to maybe Old Navy, Bellington, Coles, sometimes Ross, if you want to go down a little bit,
If you want to go down a little bit,
little bit.
so I shop on it. People are always surprised when I say I shop on Amazon. Like
Oh,
I
okay.
find pieces, just basic things, and then there's some other high end, just things that I just put together. But Amazon, there's staples, get things.
Yeah. Okay.
It don't
Okay.
always fit, but you can always return it immediately. Like it comes and you're like, nah, this
Yeah.
is not for me.
I
Nah.
love this new AI thing for Amazon where you can take a picture of yourself, you
Mm-hmm.
style it,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Very good.
Okay. If you are listening to us from Northern Bole Bamboy, Ghana, you may not understand what we are saying, but it's whatever.
What do you mean? They've advanced. What do you mean?
Does Amazon deliver to Africa? Does Amazon deliver to Nigeria? You Nigerians, you can make anything happen. I trust you guys.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I
So
don't think so. I don't
yeah.
think so.
All
Okay,
right.
I think I'll answer one last question.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh, I like your calmness. Thank you so much. Thank
You
you.
should check out her YouTube channel. She's super cool.
What was your GPA? My GPA, like you mean my bachelor GPA?
Probably.
Um, so I don't like to answer this question
Yeah.
because people would think that getting a specific grade, graduating with a specific grade was what
Mhm.
made it possible for me to get the
Yeah.
scholarship. The truth is, I knew people who got second class lowers, who I don't know if that's how they call it in Ghana, but like two, like oh, second class lower and there's upper, right? I know
Yeah.
people who finished with two and they also still got scholarships.
I see.
So I don't think grade, it's all in the package. That's why I say you look at your profile holistically, right? And then just make sure that you strengthen your case. So if you don't have a good GPA, make sure you make up for it in your GRE or GMAT or your essay that you're submitting or your recommendation letter, and make
Yeah,
sure that the entire profile you're submitting is solid.
great. All right, so we have to go. You want to respond to more questions? You want to? Okay, we have to go. All right. I really
No.
appreciate the time. Maybe we should do this one some other time.
Okay.
Especially properly going into the EB one.
Mhm.
Some other time. I really appreciate your time. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. I'm so grateful for sharing my work with your audience and everyone that is watching. Thank you so much.
Awesome. All right. Oh,
Inspiration. Sorry, thank you for being an inspiration to thousands and millions of people actually, because the views
yeah.
on your channel is like millions. So thank you for being an inspiration to millions of people all around the world.
Right, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. All right. Be sure to subscribe to Fisayo's YouTube channel. You go to YouTube, search for FISEYO, then Gracie, you add Abby to it, and then you become part of the family. A lot of insightful ideas and content on the platform. Remember, the Fred Effect team has a collaboration with Argo Visa. Argo Visa is a team of former visa officers. Now that the visa interview, getting a date has been a bit challenging. You don't want to go for the interview and get denied. Get it once by talking to an ex visa officer before you talk to the actual visa officer at the embassy. Use the link I'm sharing on the screen to schedule a one-on-one meeting with the Argo Visa team. To talk to the Fred Effect team, we only respond to messages via our verified Instagram handle, which is over 22,000 followers. If you want to schedule a one-on-one meeting, this is the link to do that via Seller, and we get to interact one-on-one. If you want to apply for a master's program or graduate program, if you have a high school qualification, the team handles your undergraduate applications for free. We are the only team that does that. Use the link I'm sharing on the screen to do that, and then we can get to talk. There are a lot of fake accounts impersonating the Fred Effect brand. So kindly be careful. We do not have any WhatsApp number out there. We do not have any email out there you can reach us. The only way you can message us or DM the team is via our verified Instagram handle. So it's been a great session. Next week we'll come your way with another guest. So be part of the Fred Effect family. We streamed on YouTube via Fisayo's YouTube channel. We're also across all the Fred Effect social media platforms. Facebook, we are about 120,000 family members. On YouTube, 100 and almost 80,000 family members. On X and also on Instagram, and we streamed on TikTok as well. On each of these platforms, just search for the Fred Effect. Click on the follow or like or subscribe button and be part of the family. All right, it's been a great session. Thank you for tuning in. Please be positive and know that everything will be fine. With everything happening when it comes to the visa validity reduction from a couple of years to 3 months, you want to make sure that you are staying positive on what you're working on. This is not affecting your ability to apply to universities in the US. So don't panic. Changes have been happening, modifications go on, but we still continue to keep the hope alive. The name has been the Fred Effect. This is the biggest study abroad content platform. Please be positive and know that everything will be fine. I'll see you next week.